The Ethereum network is currently preparing to merge its current proof of work Ethereum mainnet with the upgraded proof of stake beacon chain. Now, I know that's a lot of technical talk and you guys came here for a simple guide, but please stick with me, watch to the end. I promise it'll all make sense. So the big news in crypto right now is the Ethereum merger, and today we're going to talk about what that means to crypto enthusiasts, miners, investors, and the world as a whole. Today, I'm going to explain everything that you need to know to have a basic understanding of what's going on here. So the format for today's video is number one, we're going to talk about the differences between proof of work and proof of stake. Number two, we're going to talk about after this Ethereum merge happens, what will and what won't change. And number three, we're going to talk about the roadmap for this entire situation. And before we get started, only an extremely small amount of you guys who watch this channel are actually subscribed. So please feel free to subscribe if you like the content that we're putting out. It's completely free and you can change your mind at any time. Now, back to the video. So like I said previously, the Ethereum network is preparing to undergo a merge that will change Ethereum forever and hopefully for the better. Currently, Ethereum runs on what's known as a proof of work model. Within this model, network transactions are validated by supercomputers, otherwise known as miners, who are competing to solve a complex computational puzzle. Once that puzzle is solved by one of the miners, the data is now deemed valid and it's added as a block to the blockchain. And then the miner who actually solved that puzzle is rewarded with the cryptocurrency of that blockchain, which in this case is Ethereum. Now, the system was created to make decentralization possible by theoretically allowing anybody to become a miner, but unfortunately and kind of ironically, it's actually become a pretty centralized system when it comes to validating transactions. And this is due to a few shortcomings of the system. First, the difficulty of these puzzles increases with more miners trying to solve it. And this causes miners and mining companies to have to invest in crazy expensive high-end equipment just to be able to compete in this mining industry. And this means that with each new miner trying to get their slice of Ethereum, everyone has to spend more money, and a lot of smaller miners really have no chance of getting in because they can't compete with the big wigs in the industry. Now, the other main issue is the extremely large amounts of electricity needed to actually mine Ethereum. I'm talking a total of 112 terawatt hours of electricity per year, which is more power consumption than the entire country of the Philippines. So yeah, it's a lot. And this extreme amount of power consumption has a plethora of environmental consequences, which has really put a bad taste in the mouths of environmentalists who want crypto mining to be outlawed. And for all these reasons, the Ethereum network is moving to a proof of stake model, which promises to be cleaner, more efficient, and more scalable than the current proof of work model. So now let's break down the proof of stake model. Under this model, the validation of transactions is completed by users who have staked their coins, essentially locking them in as collateral for the validation process. For each transaction, Ethereum will randomly select a validator out of all the users who have staked their coins, and that chosen person is now responsible for validating the transaction. And once the transaction is successfully validated, they'll be rewarded with Ethereum. However, they must be careful because if their validation is deemed dishonest or shows any kind of deliberate misbehavior, their stake can get slashed. And this essentially means that they will lose the tokens that they initially staked. And this is for security reasons, just to make sure that they're keeping the network as safe and as honest as possible. Now, this model is better for a few reasons. Number one, it's much more environmentally friendly, cutting the energy consumption from Ethereum mining by about 99.95%. And number two, it's much more scalable than proof of work because you don't need any kind of crazy expensive hardware to be a miner anymore. More regular people can start to stake their coins, validate transactions, earn extra coins, and just be able to make the network a lot safer and a lot more efficient. However, one problem that it still doesn't solve is that of decentralization. This is because under the proof of stake model, users who stake more coins will be chosen to validate transactions at an exponentially higher rate than users with less coins. And this is because of the way in which Ethereum chooses the validator for each transaction. Let's think of the validator selection process like a raffle in which people can buy tickets to have the chance at winning a prize. So a bunch of people buy tickets, all those tickets are thrown together in a hat, and one winner is selected at random. But let's say there were 500 total tickets sold, but 400 of them were bought by a single person. That person obviously has a much higher chance of winning than anybody else. And the proof of stake model is very similar in that the odds of getting randomly selected as a validator increase with the amount of coins that a user has staked. And with each successful validation, their number of stake coins increases, which just causes an exponential cycle, especially for large whales that could lead to some network dominance. And I think this will undoubtedly be one of the biggest hurdles that Ethereum will have to face when they're moving to this proof of stake model. So now that we've got an understanding of these two models and why Ethereum is moving to the cleaner, more efficient proof of stake model, let's talk about what kind of changes you are going to see when they make this merge happen. Now, unfortunately, this new model is not going to instantly speed up transactions or lower gas fees. As a run-of-the-mill investor, your daily trades, purchases, transactions will basically be the same as they have been. The real changes are in the background of all this and have a much more long-term impact. As I've mentioned many times before, the proof of stake model will drastically reduce the energy consumption from the Ethereum network. A 99.95% energy consumption reduction is absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm just really hopeful that it's going to make crypto look better as a whole, and hopefully we'll get on the good side of a lot of people who have been scrutinizing crypto because of the environmental harm. And I think this will allow Ethereum as well as other networks to scale and grow, bring in new investors, and hopefully just start to drastically increase the value of their tokens. Now, this merge has been in the works for years, but it's just now starting to be realized by the general public. This whole thing is a 5-step process, and we're in the final moments of step 1, which happens to be the most exciting and also most dangerous part of the entire plan. And step 1 is the merge. Now, this step consists of everything we've already talked about in this video. It's essentially the merge between the proof of work and the proof of stake models. This step really began in 2020 when the Ethereum network launched its Beacon chain, which has essentially been a trial run for Ethereum to test out the proof of stake model. In these past 2 years, Ethereum developers have tested and tried to troubleshoot any and all issues that might come up from this proof of stake model, because they obviously want this merge to be as seamless as humanly possible. Although they are on record saying that this merge is essentially trying to change the tire of a car going 60 miles per hour down the highway. I mean, they're essentially trying to merge two networks that will be moving at full speed the entire time. However, if and when the merge is successful, we will move to step number 2, which is the surge. Now, during this step, Ethereum's network will increase scalability and enable faster, cheaper transactions via a process called sharding, which essentially divides large pieces of data into smaller shards, making it easier for layer 2 blockchains like Polygon to operate more efficiently within the network. Step 3 is the verge, which will allow all users to become network validators, which will be huge for keeping the network as decentralized as possible. Next up, at number 4, we have the purge, which will remove the old network history to ease network bottlenecks and further reduce the amount of hard drive space required for validators. And finally is the splurge, which will consist of final tweaks to the previous steps. And according to Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin, this is the fun part that will make Ethereum into a much more powerful network. The first step, the merge, is set to happen on September 19th, 2022, as long as there are no further delays in the process. And that's essentially the basics of what you need to know to understand what's happening in Ethereum's merge. I really hope that you guys got some value out of this video and that you're walking away feeling a lot more confident about your knowledge on this situation. And if you did like the video and you did get some value out of it, please drop a thumbs up. Shows us that you care, shows us that you guys want more videos like this. And this one took a ton of research to put together, so I'd really appreciate some likes. And also feel free to subscribe. We post content multiple times a week and we talk all things NFTs, crypto, Web3, and more. And guys, it's absolutely free to subscribe and you can change your mind at any time. And if you want to learn more about Entra, the Web3 professional network, make sure you guys click the link in our bio or at the end of this video. It'll take you right to our mobile app or website where you can start building your own Web3 professional network with some of the top people in this space. But with that being said, guys, I'm Brody from Entra, the Web3 professional network, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.